Mr. Biden, he said, sir, I just wanted to inquire about the status of your health, sir, Mr. President. Mr. Biden said, my health? Oh, my health is fine. It's just my brain. The governor goes, huh?
One person we haven't seen yet is Hunter Biden.
Well, he was in the back there.
Did you see him? Just spot him?
Wrangling the young child.
So he's there, little blonde boy. And there's been some reporting, that's the image they want to portray.
Okay. Biden was just kidding with us. And frankly, I'm saying this as a physician, it is a significant ability to cognitively still be able to make a self-deprecating joke.
Oh!
So if anything, people do need to lighten up.
Democrats now threatening Joe Biden. You better get out of the race or else there, buddy boy. We're not happy with your brain. It's not working for us. It's not working for Joe either. In fact, he says that. He says, well, it's just my brain is the problem. Some people say he was joking. Others not so sure about it because the New York Times is reporting he's in bed by 8 o'clock so he can get some more sleep, as though nothing happens in the world after 8 o'clock Eastern time in the United States. Okay. So Democrats are now saying, look, enough of this. You've got to get out of here. Disney, Heiress, other donors are saying it's time to go. We're going to cut off the spigot. The floodgates are going to be closed. No more money. And this might impact Senate races, House races, governor races, local races. And so Democrat pressure on Joe will continue to mount. If he's not going to get out, if he's going to dig his heels in with Hunter, then maybe the money will be the thing that does it. Now, Ron Klain's not happy about it. No one is really happy about it on the Democratic side. We think Joe Biden's outstanding for the Democrats. He really is representative of their party. He is a perfect embodiment of who they are as a political class in America. And so I personally can't think of anybody better for the Democrats than Joe because it's representative. So we'll hear from him. They're all flipped out about it, but even CNN is ripping in to this governor saying, his brain is gone, dude. Can you just admit that, please, for all of us? And he's like, well, I don't know. We do like him a lot, though. So here is what's happening with Disney and others. You can see here this, a wealthy Democratic donors say, we're not going to finance the entire party, Joe. So you're gone, right? So Joe, get out or the Senate's done. The House is done. You're all done until you do what we say. And Joe Biden, as we know, Jill Biden gives him accolades after he finished all the questions at the debate. You ate all your food, Joe. Wow, great job. You ate your whole plate. You answered every question. So they're just going to say, Joe, you're grounded from all your fun activities until you stop running for president. Oh, wow, but I like ice cream. And so they'll have a difficult time with him. Her name is Abigail Disney, who sounds like she accomplished nothing other than inheriting money from her daddy, typical. Plans to withhold donations to Democrats until Joe Biden drops out. Abigail Disney. Sounds like an amazing person. Biden has said he has no plans to withdraw from the race. Gideon Stein, someone else, said he's decided to pause planned donations of $3.5 million to Biden. Oh no. So Joe Biden facing an uprising from some of the wealthiest donors, including Disney. Abigail, granddaughter of Roy O. Disney, granddaughter, that's how much money they got, who co-founded Walt Disney of Roy, says she's going to withhold donations. The president has said that he has no plans to withdraw. She wrote, I intend to stop any contributions to the party unless and until they replace Biden at the top of the ticket. Brutal. Duly elected and nominated. Who does she think she is? She's in charge of all the Democrats? She speaks for all the Democrats like she just gets to decide. I guess she runs that party. She says this is realism, okay? Not disrespect. Biden's a good man, has served his country admirably, but the stakes are too high, said Abigail Disney. Ridiculous, really condescending to Joe. If Biden does not step down, the Democrats will lose. Of that, I'm absolutely certain. Well, I don't think so. I mean, Joe Biden is current president. He's the incumbent president. I think we should give him a shot. The consequences for the loss will be genuinely dire. All right, so you can see they're in a large party panic. They are saying he struggled to perform. Biden's 6 points down among likely voters. Abigail's been a longtime supporter of Democrats. Disney gave $150,000 to Planned Parenthood, $400,000 supporting Dems. Disney pointed to Kamala Harris, right? She loves Kamala. Says, well, she could beat Trump. We have an excellent vice president, she says. If Democrats would tolerate any of her perceived shortcomings, even 1/10 as much as they've tolerated Biden's, and says, let's not kid ourselves about where race and gender figure in that inequity. Oh, this woman sounds just like the worst. And if Democrats can find a way to stop quibbling and rallying around her, we can win this election by a lot. Did she ever listen to Kamala speak at all? And she's not the only one pausing gifts until Joe steps down. This is an insurrection in the Democratic Party. They are threatening Joe Biden and holding him hostage to this money. Basically, blackmail, isn't it? Get out or else there's no money. We're going to pay you to get the hell out of here. Democrats are like, well, it's how our party works, so I guess we'll just eat it. They lie to us too. This is not as bad as them lying to us. So Joe Biden has been very effective, but he's got to go. This one, Carla Jurvetson, also trying to insurrect the voice of the people who voted for Joe. Why? wild. All these rich people. They're always screaming about the rich people, but look at this. Jurvetson is among the top 50 donors this cycle. Donated more than $5 million. What about the average Joe who just wants a better life? What about him or her, or they or them? Jurvetson gave more than $30 million to Democrats in 2020, according to the data. And so now they're just going to take their millions and go home. It's our money now. We don't play with you anymore. So you can see they're having a tough time over there. Joe Biden having a difficult time. Now, Ron Klain, I totally agree with him on this one completely. He says, we are the Democratic Party. He says these people don't get to decide to oust a pro-labor and pro-people president. The people voted for him, man. We stand by Joe here for the Democrats, not for America. Major Democratic donors devise plans to pressure Biden to step aside. What on earth? Says he appears intent on remaining on the ballot, but the wealthy donors are discussing plans to put their money elsewhere. I mean, unless they want to give it over to Trump, I'm fine with that. But otherwise, I don't know where they're going to put their money. Kamala? Somewhere else? This is ridiculous. This is an insurrection of the Democrats. They're trying to usurp the vote of their own constituency. It's reprehensible. They should be ashamed of themselves for trying to interfere with an election. This is election interference. But you can understand why they're a little concerned, because you don't want to spend $20 million like Bloomberg did and then have Joe Biden flush it down the toilet on the debate stage. Oops. So here the New York Times says that the reason the donors are a little bit concerned is because Biden is kind of admitting that his brain is a problem, which is not ideal when you're running the country. So the story says that Biden tells the governors that he needs more sleep and less work at night. You want to get to bed early, decent. The president's opening remarks was intended to chill any concern about his withdrawal, but this is not the real good way to do it. He says, listen, everybody, look, sorry about the debate, okay? The debate started at 9 p.m. Eastern time. He says, that's the problem. I should have been in bed, which we thought he was preparing for that for the 7 days or whatever in the days leading up to the debate. We thought that they were adjusting his sleep schedule, and I'm not even joking about that. So he tells everybody, man, I can't do anything after 8 p.m. You know how I get. I just get so cranky, I gotta get to bed. One scoop of ice cream and that's it, I'm done. The remarks on Wednesday were a stark acknowledgement of fatigue from the 81-year-old president during a meeting intended to reassure more than 24 of his most important supporters that he's not demented. He described his foreign travels. Now, initially, he blamed a cold, and then that didn't work out because everybody was saying, well, if you had a cold, why were you going and shaking hands with everybody at a Waffle House? And did you see a doctor? Karine said, no, we checked. He did not see a doctor. Then it turns out he did see a doctor, so Karine lied to us. Then they put out word midway through a debate that he had a sore throat. That's why his voice was struggling, whatever. Now, Biden said, I need to get more sleep. That's according to multiple people. He said, I was pushing too hard. That's the thing. He's working too hard for the American people. He needed to work fewer hours, and I got to avoid events after 8 p.m. Now, after Josh Green of Hawaii, a physician, asked Biden about his health. So Josh Green, he's a governor. He's from Hawaii. Mr. President, Josh Green here from Hawaii. Hello, sir. He's like, huh? Hawaii? What's that? It's a state, a series of islands. I have a question for you. He says, okay, go ahead. Mr. Biden, he says, sir, I just wanted to inquire about the status of your health, sir, Mr. President. Mr. Biden said, my health? Oh, my health is fine. It's just my brain. The governor goes, huh? Well, I'm not a neurologist, but he said, this is according to 3 people familiar with what took place. No. My heart's good. My heart's good. Lungs are good. Kidneys good. Liver's good. No problems. No ulcers. Colonoscopy was great. I'm great. It's just my brain. Oh, okay. Well, if that's all, then I guess go back to work. Here's the nuclear football. Here you go. Now, a remark that some in the room took as a joke. Okay, so some people were awkwardly laughing, including Governor Kathy Hochul. She's like, yeah, laugh. Hey, laugh. According to a person close to her, but at least one governor didn't think it was funny and was kind of puzzled by it. It's just your brain. That's what we thought. Jen O'Malley Dillon, Mr. Biden's campaign chair, who attended the meeting, said in a statement after the fact, they had to actually clean this up, said, no, it was a joke, okay, because he said, all kidding aside. He said that later. He said, all kidding aside, which he says that all the time. Even if he's not kidding, he just says that. A recollection confirmed by another person briefed on the meeting, Miss O'Malley said, he was clearly making a joke. Not clearly, okay, not really. Half the room's like, oh gosh, yeah, that's what we thought. It was your brain. All right, tell us what's going on in there. Is it a tumor? Kevin Munoz said of the president's comments about more sleep, he says, you know, President Bush went to bed at 9 too, and President Obama made dinner at 6:30, so that's normal. Normal presidents strike a balance, and so does Joe Biden, okay? So if he wants to go to bed at 8 o'clock, that's fine. Hardly the same rigor as Donald Trump, who spends half his day ranting on True Social about plans that would cause a recession and the other half golfing, and then beating the crap out of your candidate on the debate stage in his free time, while also mocking his golf game. Now, Mr. Biden took 2 foreign trips and then took 7 days to spend a full week in debate prep, and so the governors came out, they're like, no, he was just joking about his brain. Totally just a joke. Some people have some private trepidations. 2 other governors say, he's great. No, he's great. So, all right, his brain might be a media problem. We don't know, but let's see. Maybe Joe Biden can clear some of this up for us. So he was there on the 4th of July giving some different talks, and I have a couple short clips of the president. Let's go ahead and see if this was his brain functioning or not. Here is Joe.
In that World War I cemetery in France, and one of our colleagues, the former president, didn't want to go and be up there. I probably shouldn't even say it. Anyway, we got to just remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America. Whoa.
Okay, so that was a little bit of a broken brain and then a scream, which is much what Joe Biden does. There was also this exchange. So Kamala was actually introducing him as the vice president. And you'll listen to this very closely. And she says it very quickly. She says, "Want to introduce you to the president, the commander-in-chief, the great Joe Biden."
And we give thanks to our commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, the extraordinary president of the United States, Joe Biden!
Ugh, my ear.
Ho, ho, ho! Happy Independence Day!
Okay, so I don't know if that's just a weird thing he says. Ho, 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 bah humbug, trick or treat. I don't know what he's doing. So that's what it sounds like. They're having a hard time trying to create some energy, and they're introducing each other. Then Joe Biden came out and got the mic. This was a little bit of that. Here's this exchange, and this was the good clip. So this is the one that they shared.
Happy Independence Day! We gotta do what our founders did. Show the world we're a nation of dignity, honor, and just devotion to one another. I really mean it. Folks, it's all about democracy. It's all about freedom. It's all about who we are. We're the United States of America, and nothing like it exists in the world. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy the fireworks. God love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, so that's the good one that they shared, and that's about all we got. So then they came out a little bit later, and Joe was celebrating with Kamala. We're wondering if there's going to be the old switcheroo happening. Here was the scene when they brought out the first family and the second family out to speak to America. Here is the scene.
One person we haven't seen yet is Hunter Biden.
Well, he was in the back there.
Did you see him? Just spot him?
Wrangling the young child.
So he's there, little blonde boy. And there's been some reporting. Yeah, that's the image they want to portray.
Okay.
That is what they want the country to see, that they are united, that he's not going anywhere, and she is steadfast right behind him. And I guess they're pointing up at the fireworks now, which I believe have begun. But look, I mean, I gotta say, yeah, there go the fireworks now. It's beautiful.
Okay, so they're doing that little hand-holding routine, and this makes total sense. As we speculated yesterday, they're actually stronger together. It's not a good idea for either of them to break up. They have strength in numbers, and Democrats who are a little skittish on Joe will have backup plan B. If they're worried about Joe, they'll just go, okay, well, he's probably going to resign or keel over anyways after the election, so it'll be her number 2. And if they get rid of Joe and force him out, then maybe he throws a fit and starts taking the money and starts causing a ruckus that they don't want to deal with. And if she's just number 2, then they can avoid the intra-party fight that might happen with Whitmer and Newsom trying to jump all over each other. Newsom will easily come in as number 2 under Kamala, right? Now we have the California team getting back together. They're peas in a pod, and there's enough distance there because Newsom could just be, I'm sure, slotted in as VP at some point before the election if that needs to happen. But so you can see it's all now coming together, and we'll see if those donors get the message. Now, this is also a curious clip that was catching a lot of attention. Apparently, Joe Biden was also the first black female vice president, which I thought was Kamala. So this clip is getting a lot of attention. See what you think about it.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president. I'm proud to be the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
All right. So I think he was saying or intending to say that he was the vice president with the first black president, and then he brought on the first female black vice president, I think. But what it sounded like is that he said he was the first female black vice president, which based on his brain may be something that he thinks. We don't really know. So that's what he said. So we have to take him at his word. Joe Biden thinks he's probably Kamala. So this was also another interesting scene. Here was Ashley and Hunter getting their little dance on back here. So yeah, there's Ashley, there's Hunter. And last year, remember, he was pretty much coked out of his brain. He was out front and center, like just, I love these fireworks, man. These fireworks are great. This is incredible. Wow. We're going, all right, that dude's cracked out. Then we turn around and we find that there was literally cocaine in the White House. And so now I think we don't know if there's cocaine again, or maybe there's some other drugs being spread around, but who knows? Okay, it's the White House, so it's just a crack house bonanza there. So that is the scene. Now, the media still is tied tired of Joe. They're saying, look, man, you got to go. Those governors who also met with Joe, who were told that he goes to bed at 8 o'clock and don't worry about it because he gets sleepy, were on with CNN. And listen to this. This was a fun one. CNN, this anchor was just not having it. Says, what are you talking about? Says he is the president. Like, we need to know about his medical condition, so don't give me this nonsense. This was a fun one from this Josh Green fella, who was the governor of Hawaii, who was asking about Joe Biden's mental capacity when he said, oh, no, don't worry about it, okay? It's only my brain. I'm fine. It's just my neurons. I'm okay, though.
He gets up probably in the extreme wee hours of the morning to help our country, as do we all for our states. So it's not uncommon to have fatigue. That was what he shared, and I think that that is pretty normal for an elderly gentleman who's 81, and it's pretty normal even for his opponent. So it was a pretty satisfying description of where he is. But I will tell you this, I'm not his physician. We were very satisfied to hear the president perked up, and he looked great just now addressing people about 4th of July.
Did anyone in the meeting ask to speak to his physician or, to get more information about his health or anything like that?
Great question.
I know, because that would be completely inappropriate. We don't, as Americans, ask for access to other people's personal medical records.
Right, but this is
that's
the
not what
president
governors would
of the
do.
United States.
Yeah. Good call.
Oh, of course. But, a bunch of governors are not going to ask to see your medical records. And so that's just not the case. And he did get a checkup. People are going to judge the president. They're going to judge the former president.
Green lied.
I can say some blunt things with you if you'd like, which is to say
it.
Do it.
Of course, he's going to have some moments. He's 81, but this is an 81-year-old who may drift periodically. He races ahead of his words sometimes because that's always been Joe, and a very good-hearted nature underneath brain that's 81 years old, as opposed to his opponent who has a malignant personality underneath his brain. He has a personality
That's interesting. So he's willing to diagnose Trump, huh? A malignant personality. What is that in the psychiatric manual? DSM-5? Is that going to be in there? You diagnosing him? You want to look at his medical records there, Josh?
That even attacks this president here on 4th of July. And people can judge that. This is a time where we're going to have to judge two gentlemen who are both around age 80 and see who's going to care more for the people of America. That's really what this comes down to. But we were glad to see the president yesterday.
Let me ask you, because the New York Times has some new reporting about a question, is part of your question during the meeting. You said, after Governor Josh Green of Hawaii, a physician, asked Mr. Biden a question about the status of his health, Mr. Biden replied that his health was fine. It's just my brain, he added, according to 3 people familiar with what took place. A remark that some in the room took as a joke, but at least one governor did not and was puzzled by. Jen O'Malley Dillon, Mr. Biden's campaign chair who attended the meeting, said in a statement that he had said, all kidding aside, a recollection confirmed by another person briefed on the meeting. So she also said he was clearly making a joke. How did you take it? What was the vibe in the room when he said it's just my brain? Just give us some color of what was going on. Bring us inside that room.
Was it his brain?
Sure. To all America, people have to be able to take a joke. This is absolutely a self-deprecating joke, which is...
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. You have to be able to take a joke. Hey, man, we all have been living this joke for quite a long time. But first of all, their party is the party that lacks any humor at all. Many of them have never laughed ever. And now they're going to lecture us about a joke. The problem is the joke's a little too close to home, right? Some things you just don't joke about when it's almost the end of your entire political campaign, It's
very common for the president to make. The difference is Joe Biden makes a self-deprecating joke because he's comfortable about that, as opposed to what we would hear from the former president, who would probably be saying things like, Trump's brain is great. Trump can pass any test. Trump's brain passed the MRI scan in the third person. I mean, Biden was just kidding with us. And frankly, I'm saying this as a physician, it is a significant ability to cognitively still be able to make a self-deprecating joke.
Oh!
So if anything, people do need to lighten up. Now, I know that the whole...
All right, so the fact that Joe Biden made a joke means his brain is completely functional, and you can rest easy, America. Joe Biden's in charge, and he's hilarious, making jokes that half the room goes, oh gosh, is that a joke or is that real? Because it might be real, because it matches our observations. We have a demented president. So we are going to continue to cover this, my friends. We'll see if those donors make good on their promises, or if all of this is just a little temper tantrum. Democrats do that a lot too. Just throw hissy fits all the time. And we're all going to die and lock everything down. Get this, or grandma's going to get killed. All the stuff. It's never ending with them. Trump's going to end democracy. It's constant. So they'll throw their hissy fit, but eventually they'll want to go back to the party. And if Joe Biden doesn't go anywhere, that's their people. So those money gates will open again. Joe will continue to get funded. He does, man. We support Joe Biden here on this channel for the Democratic nominee. It would be ridiculous for them to undermine the will of their own voters and just be beholden to their big fat cat Democrat donors. They should stand by their man, and we'll support them as they do. Thank you, my friends, for subscribing us and joining us as we support the Democrats with their incredible candidate, Joe Biden. We'll be here continuing to cover it. We'll look forward to seeing you and them back here on the next one.